April 11th, 2022. Here's ABC, and it's what you need to know. And now their doctor that they have on here, which is Jenna Ashton, I think, she's saying that she goes through the Cal thing, and then at the end she says that there's no federal system in place to check these things. And I'm like, wait, what?
Found in meat.
Like, I mean, again, as a couch potato with this televised thing, and the public schools being as horrible and horrific as they are, there are so many misnomers or mislabeled, like, information. Like, I know I've heard, like, take it up to the man upstairs. Who? How? They don't even have a man upstairs listed here. There's no man upstairs. You know what I did see, though? I saw that Vladimir Putin has on the wall a two-faced bird. And I know where my feet are. I have a one-faced bird. So I'm thinking to myself, so if one of his bird faces is able to see the past and one of his bird faces is able to see the future, wow, one person on Earth that actually might be in charge of something important. Where I am, I only have one bird face. It's an eagle, whatever. But it has nothing to do with the man upstairs. And it has nothing to do with whatever's going on in my current area. So I am just wondering, they label this man with this two-bird symbol in another place, but they don't give very many, like, clues on this whatever about anything else about this man. And I'm like, that is so interesting. So if one has trouble here, who is the two-faced bird representative here in New York or in this area? I mean, I would at least think that they would have said something at the local public school growing up, but they didn't. I mean, there's some real serious management issues going on locally in the Big Apple.
Tell us about it. Right, and just to close the circle here, remember, coronavirus thought to originate in bats and then jump to animals to humans, so we do have to always pay attention to what's going on with our agriculture and animal populations. This latest study, published in the journal Science, looked at labeling that was written as raised without antibiotics for meat, and they did a study out of one facility, tested meat and urine, found antibiotic residues in about 15% of those labeled to have been raised without antibiotics. Most common antibiotic they detected comes from the tetracycline family. It was used for disease prevention in these cattle. Now, obviously, this raises a big issue. The problem here is that there's no federal verification system in place to ensure that these labels are truthful.
There's no federal system for verification. Look, it says it right here. Problem. No federal verification system in place to ensure. You mean to tell me over the last 70, 80 years, you built all of these Ivy League schools, you had all of these really obnoxious people attend them, and sports events, and driving Ferraris, and living out in McMansions, and going to Resort World together, drinking wine, having cheese parties, and all this stuff, having kids, forgetting completely that the rest of the world exists. And not one of their dumb, useless education things that they planned and that they created in this corridor of North America, not one of them thought to check on the federal system to make sure that we had a phone line when we're dumpster diving to alert them while they're on vacation and drinking wine and having sex and cheese parties that there may be something wrong at the forgotten about children level, to alert the people that actually have something to live for. in order to alert them, like, the real people in charge, if we're doing stepping stone work of some sort. But I guess in all their college degrees and ribbons and robing themselves and their importance and they're celebrating their successes, I guess it was just a little too much to open one phone line for the rest of us, Festivus for the rest of us, to call to say, hey, I noticed something at the bottom of like nobody gives a shit about me level. It might affect all of us. I thought maybe. All right, they just cut the phone line completely. No way to the top, no way to report to the man or the man upstairs or any man completely. Leaves a woman in a really vulnerable position. Just saying.
Slash accurate, so that will be an opportunity for improvement. But again, typically when you see this on a label, it's expensive. There may or may not be health benefits. So we do need a system where we can at least trust what the labeling says. Very interesting study.
All right, Dr. Jackson, we appreciate you as always.
And we're going to turn now to ABC's Ike Ajachi, who's in Washington, D.C. with all of our latest.
So at least 80 years of college degrees and not one of the super fluent in reading, writing, and arithmetic thought like a 8-digit or 7-digit, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10-digit phone number might be a good idea. Just one, at least. I mean, line might be busy, but whatever. I mean, there's a lot of engineers on the line here with their reputations, too. They didn't think of it either. Here's something. On same program, COVID-19 rising, New York City mayor tests positive after attending apparent super spreader event in D.C.
City Mayor Eric Adams just diagnosed. He also attended that Washington, D.C. gridiron dinner last week, an apparent super spreader. Now, nearly 24.
24, that's 24 in metrics. So it's, here we are. Just because I know when I watch the TV shows about like the superhero, somebody special leagues, they usually like mugshots. So I thought I'd just help out with whatever the news program is.
Positive COVID-19 cases involving high-ranking officials. Now, Dr. Ashish Jha says the pandemic isn't over yet, that cases will rise and fall, and pointing out that in those latest cases, now, no one has been hospitalized.
Now, here's the thing. There's genocide going on somewhere in the world. There's germ warfare being introduced. President Biden seems to be surrounded by non-family members on the family estate. And this guy is the go-to White House guy to ask about medical stuff. I mean, like, if I'm playing a video game and I'm setting the characters up in like a Minecraft like way where it's just blocks, like real simplistic level of video game creation, I'm wondering why, if I'm having an outbreak in something and I have a genetic that looks like this, why I would ever rely on a genetic that looks like this for my answers. Especially when it's not part of the family inside of the White House on the portrait wall with the ancestors, which other integrated households of multiple family houses of whatever they do for a living in safety procedures rely on. It's not just if one house goes down, it should be a concern to the entire chain of houses. One would think, in a video game way of like speculation.
Jaws says the pandemic isn't over yet, that cases will rise and fall, and pointing out that in those latest cases.
But I noticed that, like, this jaw guy wants you to believe that it's clinical trials and research that's really what runs fundamentals. No, that sounds like experimentation on a large scale with some brainwashing. I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't jive with my logic. And my logic is based off of facts in the field.
Cases. Now, no one has been hospitalized or killed, and that's the value of the vaccines, urging everyone to get vaccinated and.
Hold on a minute. They constantly talk about how many people died. So are they saying that nobody's died? Nobody got killed? That's confusing. I mean, these are the reporters. This is the level of intelligence. Like, this is the only intelligent machine that's integrated with humanity for an outside perspective that I have access to. So what's really scary about how they've built this system in New York during my life frame. And then I have Lynn and Lou, but again, they don't even give me good advice. When mom and dad, somebody tried to murder me, what should I do? They're like, go to therapy. You'll work it out. That's the level of interactive human I'm working with at the moment, because I have no other access to like real humans.
Boosted. And the rematch at the polls in Paris.
It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, it's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. And it's April 11th, 2022.